made an M off a daily fantasy. His number too high, then I'm probably fading him. He been on the road, he gon' eat up my salary. I hit a buy, he gon' lie before lock. Play back to back, then I probably won't pick on the Dfs Bachelor, good as it gets. Bit a few liners and hit me a leg. He had a good game, but it might be a trick. Log in the Slack so I know who to pick. Sharing our liners, we all gon' get rich. New to this game, you should come to the pad. You might want some cash and get a good laugh. Dfs Sports, we gon' run up a bag. He heard every game and it's making me mad. You buying your lineups, I think you a cheater. Dfs Bachelor, he the new leader. Yeah.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Bachelor Pad. I, of course, am your host, the Dfs Bachelor, and it's our first look at Week 5. So you know how it is. We've got our boy at Jackpot 25, my boy Doug, to go over our first look, just things that we like earlier in the week when we look at the prices on both Fanduel and Draftkings for the main slate. As usual, thank you all so much. A big cheers to you all. Enjoying some drinks, getting ready for my Lakers to hopefully take a 3-1 lead in that NBA Finals. And we love having Doug on, and as usual, you can find him. We'll have a link to his YouTube channel down in the video description below. More content over there. He's doing a great job growing a channel. Takes a lot of guts to do it, so show some love over there. My brother, how you doing today?
Doing good, man. How about yourself?
Doing good. Doing good. Busy day. Had a little, my debit card got hacked and someone was trying to order like $200 in Domino's at 8 in the morning or so. I don't know where the hell that was happening from. So now I have to wait for a new bank card. Yeah, I know. I get an email like, hey, fraud alert, fraud alert. And I'm like, what the hell? Domino's, 179.33. And I was like, so I had to call, and ask, how long is it going to take till I get a new damn card? And they said a couple days. I was about to buy the pizza, honestly. Like, I don't want to deal with all the inconvenience, man.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm doing great. As usual, for all you guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, qualify for our $50 PayPal giveaway. We announce that winner every Saturday morning when I go over my final look with my partner over at Sportsbook Review, Donnie. That is brought to you by our friends at Tax Relief Advocates, making your tax debts disappear. $5,000, $10,000, $100,000. It doesn't matter. You can give them a call at 1-800-411-9633, and you'll find that in the scroll as well as other information. Of course, my player pool is always available on Draft Dashboard. You can use it in the lineup optimizer, mass lineup generator. I do a weekly NFL ranking sheet, weekly wide receiver cornerback sheet, all sorts of great research information to really cut your research time in half. You can also click the link in the video description and try that for 30 days for $1. That video description is important, so click down there and do all that. And if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe. We really appreciate that. Hit the like button. It helps the channel more than you know. And also, don't forget my friends over at Overlay DFS. A lot of fun over there. I've got my 4-pick parlay tonight at Overlay. So if you're in one of those states where you can't play an online bookie, you can't, bet, but you kind of want to, Overlay DFS gives you this mix of DFS and you can play some spreads with individual players. I got $40 in tonight to win $500 on 4 players that I really like. It's a lot of fun. Had a lot of success over there. So check that out as well. So it's our first look. We'll jump right into quarterbacks. I'm just going to do my top 5 at each position and then have Doug give his picks, what he likes early on in the week so far. And don't forget, you can find Doug throughout the week, NBA videos, NFL videos. So check all of that out. Did you want to say, is there any other way we could find you? Anything that I forgot in there?
No, pretty much. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on YouTube. Right at the moment, at some point, I'll try to jump on Twitch or something like that and try to get it more expanded out there. For the moment, that's where you can find me. So
nice, very good. Yeah, I tried the Twitch thing. I was going to, but I haven't figured it out. I said screw it, man, and I should have. I'm probably way behind the 8 ball now, but whatever,
Hey,
shit happens,
That's right. Yeah,
shit happens, coming off of week 4, man. I got bailed out week 4 in the afternoon slate. Thank God. I was this close to the 20 grand. Daryl Henderson needed like 2 more carries. That's it. Just fucking give him the ball.
Yeah.
All alone at $20,000. I'm so pissed about that. But it was a nice day regardless, even though there were some letdowns like Kenyon Drake, of course. The window licker of the week. Absolutely.
Yes.
So, looking at quarterbacks early on in the week, Patrick Mahomes, 7-7 DraftKings, 9K Fanduel. Very expensive, but we got a huge total in this game. He's absolutely torched the Raiders last year. The Raiders secondary is not very good. We saw what Josh Allen was able to do. Now you got Kansas City coming in, kind of struggled against New England a little bit. Last night still won by double digits because they just had no quarterback play, obviously, with Cam Newton now. But I like Patrick Mahomes quite a bit this week at 7-7. Right below that, it looks like this game is going to be played. Right now, all signs point to Buffalo and Tennessee going off as scheduled. Josh Allen, 7-5 DraftKings, 8-4 Fanduel. Look, you just got to love the rushing upside. He's doing it with his arm right now, too. He's not even really carrying the ball much. So if he runs in a touchdown, this guy could easily be in the 40s. So you have to like Josh Allen quite a bit. And him and Dak Prescott, I'm not going to go too much in it, but Dak Prescott's on pace to throw for like 6,700 fucking yards this year. Like, they're just throwing the ball up and down the field. So, of course, he's in play. But I like Kyler Murray again against the Jets. That Jets defense is absolutely terrible. Now you've got the Cardinals going from the West Coast to the East Coast. 7-2 DraftKings, 8-3 FanDuel. The Cardinals have been pretty good against quarterbacks, but Kyler Murray is a running back that is going to use his legs. So you've got that nice high rushing floor, the upside. I could go there, and then any player against the Jacksonville defense I like, with them firing Bill O'Brien. Maybe they sort of let Deshaun Watson loose this week. 6-9 DraftKings, 7-9 FanDuel, Jacksonville 20th against opposing quarterbacks. And then if I have one guy under 6K right now that I'm looking at that I really like, it's gotta be your guy from Carolina, Teddy Bridgewater at 5,900 on DraftKings, 7-1 on FanDuel. The Falcons have allowed the most fantasy points so far to opposing quarterbacks. They can't stop anyone. So that's right now, that's my early top 5 at quarterback. What are you looking at quarterback?
Quarterback, you pretty much nailed it, man. I like all those guys. Teddy Bridgewater, man, too cheap. Just keeps going out there producing every week, and he's just not up there. They're not pricing him up too high.
Yep.
Even had a rushing touchdown this week for like 18 yards. So, I mean, he hasn't had the rushing floor that he had. He had that big knee injury, and ever since then, you kind of hold your breath when he goes to run the ball. But he ran, picking up confidence and getting better and better every week. So, other guys I like this week, I like Tannehill at 6K. Hopefully the Titans play. They've had negative tests, so I like their upside. The Bills defense just isn't showing up. I don't know what's going on with the Bills defense, but I think Tannehill could come out there and throw on them, do what he needs to do.
Absolutely.
Another guy I like this week is Minshew. For a bounce back game, if the Texans can't get their off defense together, Minshew could have a big game, especially coming back and wanting to. I know they took an L this past weekend, but I think they bounce back as well, make it a competitive game at least.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. One guy I want to ask you about, and he hasn't had a huge season so far, is kind of a train wreck.
Sure.
But he's playing what I think might be the worst defense in the NFL. We got Daniel Jones against the Cowboys at 5,400, DraftKings 7K FanDuel. Now, look, he's got 3 straight games, 10, 10, and 11. Absolutely terrible. But my God, that Dallas Cowboys defense looks atrocious. I might take a punt on it. If you're playing 20 to 40, 50 lineups, why not throw it in one? And if he goes off, it's super contrarian, right?
I'll tell you another guy that even may be worth a stab if he's back this week is Jimmy G, 5,500, going against Miami defense. So,
yeah, no, you got to look at that. And I actually even looking more at value, and I can't stand this guy as a player, and I think the Chiefs secondary is good. But if the Chiefs are putting up points, Derek Carr's going to have to throw the football quite a bit. He's at 5.53 as well, so there is some value plays down there.
Sure.
As well at quarterback. If we jump over to running back, I'll leave it to you first. That way I don't take all your picks with with my nonsense. What are you looking at running back early in the week?
First thing on the list that kind of jumps off the page to me is Zeke. Is he's the highest paid, our highest salary running back this week? I mean, he hasn't really done anything. It's been the Dak Prescott show. So I mean, he's still involved. I think this week they try to get him back involved, try to get winning again, and kind of concentrate on that, especially going against the Giants. Terrible defense.
Yeah, sorry, that thing's freezing just a little bit here, so I'll just fill it in until you get back. It's probably all the damn downloads my son is doing over there. But it's
so I mean, we can see.
Sorry, I'm losing you just a little bit here.
And then probably the next. Okay.
I lost you for just a second. It's okay. It'll come back. This is the Skype always does it once every damn
Are we
video.
good?
So it should be back here in just a second. Just to
Oh, yeah.
touch on, I like the Zeke Elliott call. More so, he's involved. He's 20 targets the last 2 weeks. So even though it didn't seem like a big game, he still put up a 22 last week against Cleveland,
Sure.
and the Giants struggle against running backs. Okay, we've got you back. That's my fault on my end with the Skype.
Yeah,
But
no problem. No, you're good.
okay,
Uh,
continue on, please.
Probably the next guy I probably like, and he's at a great price this week, Connor. He's going to get the ball. He's going to get the opportunities. Going against a good matchup this week. Should be a baller. A standpoint for 6,900 on DK. He's only $7,000 on Fanduel. And then, of course, I like my guy Mike Davis this week, 6,400. He's going to get the opportunities. This is probably the last. I don't know if this will be the last week that he'll be the starter before they bring Christian McCaffrey back. But they had Donovan go down on the IR, so they pretty much got two running backs right now. I expect him to get a lot of carries this Sunday.
Yeah, I like the call on Mike Davis. Anything else at running back?
The one guy that I like the most at value this week is probably Frank Gore. If he takes his Flintstone vitamins, he's only 5,300 on FanDuel, but 4K is an amazing price for a good, nice matchup. Plus, he's really cheap, and they got nothing. I think they released Barlage yesterday, so I mean, there's really like hardly nobody back there behind him. It's just a Frank Gore show. I think they're just gonna let him run out there and do what they got to do, and they're just going to see what happens.
Yeah, they did cut Kalen Ballage yesterday, which is kind of surprising, right? But that team's just a dumpster fire, and
Right.
so we'll have to see what happens there. I'm with you on the Zeke call and the Connor call. One guy I like this week a lot, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 6'8 DraftKings, 7'9 FanDuel. No team in the league so far through the first 4 weeks of the season has allowed more points to opposing running backs than the Las Vegas Raiders. At home, a game you expect them to be ahead in. He's going to be involved in the passing game. I think the Fresh Prince of Hilaire is a nice play this week. Also, any running back against the Houston Texans, they cannot stop the run. They are absolutely atrocious. So James Robinson for Jacksonville, sitting there at 6'7 on DraftKings, 6'6 on FanDuel, 17 carries last week. He's been targeted 14 times over the last 3 weeks. I do think that James Robinson's a nice play. I'm right there with you on the Mike Davis call. Another guy like Jonathan Taylor against Cleveland. I just don't think that Cleveland defense is very good, and the Colts really need to rely on Jonathan Taylor because Phillip Rivers is not that explosive. He's sitting there at 6,200, and if I look at some cheaper options, I like to attack that Carolina defense. Now, I know Todd Gurley's not getting a huge amount of volume, but he's 5'7 DraftKings, 6'7 FanDuel. Carolina allowing the fourth most fantasy points in the league to opposing running backs. I could certainly get down with that, and I'm looking at Kenyon Drake's face against the Jets, and I'm telling you, I am so pissed at Kenyon Drake, and I'm bashing Kenyon Drake a lot. He's going to go off this week, and I'm not going to play him, and I'm not going to tell anyone to play him, and he's going to go off because he's had such a... He averaged 5.6 targets per game last year with Arizona after the trade. He's got 5 targets total this season. It's absolutely ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Something's got to give.
Well, I mean, it could just be that they got Hopkins now. They got a definite threat in the receiving core. So I mean, last year it was kind of a hit or miss show. They didn't really have all they had really was Fitz, and they didn't really have anybody else.
Christian Kirk, Demir Bird. They played 4 wide more than any team in the league last year.
But to me, those guys just show up when they want to. But they depended on Drake a lot last year in the receiving game, kind of like Carolina has done with Christian McCaffrey. But you look at that, and now that they got Hopkins, it's just every other pass is Hopkins. Yeah.
The breakout game for Drake's going to come, and he's going to be super low owned, and so I've already talked myself into him for like 4 straight fucking weeks. So I'm going to have him in something this week, unfortunately, just because I'm a glutton for punishment,
Sure.
But a couple guys here like around the 5K range for some value. Running backs against Jacksonville in that same game. David Johnson hasn't been great either, but this is a fantastic matchup. They're at home. We got a nice high total of 54 in this game. He's sitting there at 5'2 on DraftKings, 6'4 FanDuel. I could go there. And the young guy starting to...
I was going to say, in the mix of that with David Johnson is you got Duke Johnson coming back, so that scares me a little bit.
He was back last week. But he's still playing 80% of the offensive snaps. And Jacksonville, you saw what Joe Mixon did to Jacksonville. My God.
Yeah.
And Joe Mixon was banged up.
Yeah.
Wasn't even healthy for that game. And then one other guy, I don't love this offense, but it looks like this kid's really taken over the running back job. I don't mind Antonio Gibson either for Washington at 5K DraftKings 5.8 Fanduel. The Rams 15th against running backs. He was targeted 5 times in the passing game. Looked good, 3 straight double-digit fantasy outputs. So if we're looking for some value, that might be some places that we could go right now as well. I'm going to do my best to get a top 5 value play at each position video out this week. I've been kind of slacking on that. Let's go to wide receiver. Of course, I'm not going to do the wide receiver cornerback matchups yet because I just don't have that sheet ready. I do a top 10 here on Draft Dashboard. You can check that out every week. Top 10 best and worst. And it really helps. It's actually been quite good. Luckily, things, I haven't looked too stupid, which is easy for me to do. I'm very easily, I can look stupid. If I just go over a couple receivers real quick, because I figure while this is loading, it might try to cut you off, so I don't want to make that mistake again. That's not your fault, my fault.
No problem.
Looking at DeAndre Hopkins against the Jets on the road, he's expensive, 7.9 and 8.7, but my God, he's got the huge upside. He was a little banged up last week with that ankle issue, was still targeted 9 times. The offense didn't look great, but he was able to get it done. Then you look at Amari Cooper against the Giants, and look, you just want part of that Cowboys passing attack right now. They are just throwing the ball so much, and especially if they get behind, which they can't stop anybody. So Dak Prescott, no matter what's going to throw the ball a ton. Amari Cooper's been targeted 28 times over the last 2 weeks. That's a huge, huge number. That's what she said. But she doesn't realize that I start all my rulers at 4 in my house. I cut them off right there at 4. So, that's how we do that around here at the Bachelor Pad. I mean, gotta lie to them a little bit. Looking at receivers, just a couple I like right there. I have more, but let's send it over to you. What are you looking at right now at wide receiver?
Man, there's a lot to like this week at receiver. I mean, you probably got 20 guys. You could probably leap off the. You probably have an argument to play. Probably for me, I'm going to try to do the same approach I did last week. I'm trying to find some value, probably in between that 45-ish to 6K-ish range this week. I think you can find some value with that. I think mentioning the Dallas attack, I think Cooper and Lamb were in the optimal this week together. So you guys just keep that in mind with the way they've been playing here lately. That can happen. But guys I like this week, I love Hill this week. Tyreek Hill could go off. He's been having great games here lately. He's been targeted a lot. And he can blow the roof off and go for 80-yard touchdown anytime.
Yeah.
Guys like that, I like. Obviously, like Chark this week. Jacksonville going against the Texans. I like that matchup. He just has a touchdown written on him every time he walks on the field. I mean, it's always a possibility to happen. But guys probably looking down, probably getting down towards my 6K range, kind of guys like that. I think Carolina's receivers are just too cheap.
Me too.
You've got Moore at 6K. You've got Anderson at 59. I mean, you could easily pair those guys up and play a cheap Teddy Bridgewater and pay up elsewhere this week. And just one more guy to kind of mention out. Just a couple more value guys that I like, and I'll jump it back to you. Fitzgerald is only $3,800 on DK. I mean, he's on the field 84% of snaps. That's just. And then another guy to mention at a minimum salary is Jeff Smith, who kind of went off this week at only a minimum of 3K.
I like that. I like the Jeff Smith call too. I have another guy marked at minimum salary playing 92% of the snaps, and it looks like Cam Newton should be back this week. Demir Byrd against Denver, who's 26th against opposing wide receivers. 10 targets yesterday with Hoyer and Stidham. Now you get Cam Newton back the week before. Had 12 targets over those first 2 weeks. So if you want to take a shot on a bad secondary and an offense that could be getting healthier with Cam Newton back, Demir Byrd at 3,000 I think makes a ton of sense. I had Tyreek Hill and Robbie Anderson both marked on my sheet. So I have them both on the cheat sheet right now. I think they're both terrific plays. And did I have one more receiver, or was that it? I think that might be all 5 of them. I thought I maybe had one more, but
I can tell you a couple more just to throw out there that I like. I wanted to mention T.Y. Hilton is just dirt cheap right now.
Yeah.
If they can get it together, He's only 4,900 on DK this week.
Yeah.
And then Cole Beasley keeps doing it every week with Josh Allen. So he had another nice day on Sunday. So just keep him in mind. He's still cheap. For whatever reason, his price isn't going up, and he's just sticking around the 40K-ish, 45K-ish range. He's at 47 this week, but that's still really cheap for a guy who's going to get he's getting like 8 targets a game or something like that. So
Yeah, I think that's a good call. I'm trying to find his price right now. I'm trying to find where Golden Tate is because anytime, there he is, at 4,600. He hasn't done anything massive this year, but again, in the slot against the Cowboys, it's the best matchup in the NFL. The Cowboys allowing the second most fantasy points in the league to opposing wide receivers, but the most to opposing slot receivers because Jordan Lewis in the slot and that Cowboys defense is absolutely terrible. So Golden Tate coming off a game where he was, fighting with Jalen Ramsey because Jalen Ramsey literally knocked up his sister and then left her. And left her for another woman, and they have sort of this beef, and they were going to fight in the. Jalen Ramsey apparently wanted to fight Golden Tate outside of the tunnel. Golden Tate 4,600. It's a great matchup. You just hope Daniel Jones has his shit together and can get him the football. I mean, that's the only reason the Cowboys don't get torched in the slot is Daniel Jones just plays like absolute shit, which could absolutely happen, of course. But so far, I've seen nothing from that Dallas secondary that tells me that they can do anything. They are so bad. Moving on to the tight end spot. Wow, we're going to have a nice, quick first look video. We're doing a great job. I like that.
Sure.
I mean, it's first look. That's how it's supposed to be. Just some early stuff, Nothing crazy. So at tight end, if we look at tight end right now, we'll start off with Doug. What do you like here at tight end?
Obviously the normal guys. Kelsey jumps off the page as having a really great matchup this week. He's Mahomes' guy. But the couple other guys that I really like is Kittle, especially if Jimmy G's back. Kittle's in a great matchup, and he just eats. Another guy I can't figure out why he's just so cheap every week is Jonnu Smith. He's in another good matchup.
Yep.
He's 4,900. I also like him. And then probably the next guy that I like at only a $4,000 price, he's not on the field 90% of the snaps, is Ingram going against Dallas.
Yep. Yeah, I like Evan Ingram too. He's marked on my sheet, and the problem is he's got stone hands. The guy can't catch the fucking ball. That's the real problem with him. But again, you want to attack this Dallas secondary. It makes a whole bunch of sense. Another guy I kind of have marked at 4K is Eric Ebron against the Eagles. The Eagles are allowing the third most fantasy points in the league to opposing tight ends. Looks like he and Big Ben are starting to get into a rhythm. 12 targets over their last couple of games. They've had a week off, so he's healthy. You always worry about health with Eric Ebron, and he looks healthy. The George Kittle call is a great call. Look, I mean, it was his first game back, and they used their second and third string quarterback, and you can tell they are just, especially with Mostert and Coleman out, they're really molding the offense around Kittle. 15 targets, absolute monster. And then one other matchup I really like is Tyler Higbee against Washington. I think the Rams offense stunk last week. He's only had like 11 targets the last few weeks. Nothing real explosive. Gerald Everett had that fumble. Then you sort of saw more Higbee. Washington 29th against opposing tight ends. 5, 6, and 6K. I can get down with that. And then, as I look down, there's not much else right now that I'm in love with. I always try to find one of these, 25, 2,800 type guys, but there's just not a lot of them this week. You're just not seeing it. I don't like paying up at tight end that much, so I'll probably be around this 4K. Maybe Mo Alley Cox at 4.2, but now with Trey Burton back, it's like, maybe Dalton Schultz. I should bring him up. He had a good week for me last week, and he's been targeted 24 times the last 3 weeks. He put up a 17, got a touchdown this week against Cleveland. He's at 4.8. I suppose I could go there.
A whole lot, didn't it? What, $1,300?
Yeah, exactly. Anything else at tight end that you like?
The only other guy I'll mention, some consideration at 3,400, Ian Thomas for Carolina. He caught a touchdown pass this weekend, so just a consideration. Carolina's getting a little bit more confident. He's getting a little bit more involved. Something to think about.
Yeah,
dart throw.
Absolutely, gotta have those dart throws. And then real quickly, we'll go over defenses now. It's defense. You're always trying to get that, pick six upside, and I do think you see that right here at the top with the Patriots against Denver, no matter if they throw out. It looks like Brett Rippion's going to keep that job for right now. Drew Lock's not ready to come back. Now you've got New England in Foxborough coming off a loss. Should get Cam Newton back. They're 4,200 on DraftKings, 4,800 on Fanduel. You got to like the Patriots. The Rams against anytime Dwayne Haskins is on the field. I like that defense. Strip sack fumbles for Aaron Donald, etc. Got to like the Rams defense at 4K. Baltimore against that rookie quarterback in Joe Burrow, even though I'm actually a little bit nervous about that one. I think I'll just pay the extra 300 to get to the Patriots because the Ravens defense has not been the same, and Joe Burrow looks pretty damn good, as a matter of fact. And then probably the last defense I'll bring up, I do have one value defense, the Colts against the Browns at 3,300. The Colts are the number one defense in the NFL right now, and Baker Mayfield can self-implode at any time. But I kind of like this Pennsylvania matchup. I like how that Steelers pass rush against that Eagles offensive line at 3,800 on DraftKings. Look, the Eagles offense has allowed the third most fantasy points to opposing defenses. I don't think they can block anyone. We saw a beat-up 49ers offensive line give them trouble. They just kind of lucked out that Nick Mullins threw that game away.
Yeah.
That pass rush for the Steelers should feast on that poor Philadelphia offensive line in Pittsburgh, 3,800 and 4-4. Early in the week, what are you looking at defense?
I mean, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. I do have one value defense, so I'll disagree with you a little bit on the Rams. I think Washington's defense is a lot better than what people are giving them credit for. They've had 15 sacks in the first 4 weeks.
Yep.
They're getting after it. They may not be doing great on the offensive side of the ball, but they're definitely getting there on the defensive side of the ball. So, to me, Jared Goff kind of has that Breeze syndrome, where if he's playing away from, or even Big Ben, where they're playing away from home field, they struggle a little bit, and I feel like Goff does that a little bit as well. So I can see Washington kind of keeping that game close and keeping it a low-scoring game this weekend.
Interesting. I mean, we just saw it happen to the Rams against the Giants last weekend, so it's not out of the question. And you're right, Washington's defense is underrated. The problem is their offense makes so many mistakes that they give up points, so they're not scoring a ton of fantasy points. But one, pick six, strip fumble on Jared Goff on the road, West Coast team going to the East Coast. So that could be an interesting tournament. Defense, I think that's everything. Anything else you want to add before we get the hell out of here?
No, man, as always, appreciate you having me. Appreciate the love. Hope everybody has a good week, and let's make some money.
I love it. I love it. You guys, be sure to check out Doug's channel. We'll have a link in the video description. Check out that video description. You're going to have a link. You can get my player pool, lineup optimizer, etc. for not just NFL, but basketball and baseball as well. Try it for 30 days for $1. You'll see my player pool, a box to find it, all that stuff there. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, be part of our giveaway. A big thanks to Tax Relief Advocates for that. Also, check out our friends at Overlay DFS. I will be live Thursday, 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Eastern over at Sportsbook Review with my guy Donnie, and Kelsey Kramer will be there as well, giving her Pick 6 picks. All sorts of good stuff. Thank you all so much for watching. A big cheers to you all. A big thanks to Doug for being here. And we will see you with our Thursday Night Football video sometime tomorrow. And I know Doug will have one up as well at his channel, so be sure to check that out as well. Big thank you to you all. May the fantasy gods be with you all. Until we see you next time, thank you all so much. Goodbye, folks.